Okay, so we're in another month. May is came and gone. I wasn't able to complete the whole 21 days. If I'm not sure, I did about a good five, four, 4 to 5, 20 out of the 21 days. So May was just not the best month, which is, it's okay. All right, so we're in the month of June. We're about to get started with another 21 days for the month of June. I already started on day one. Already started. I just didn't hit the record button, which is okay, but I was able to get the exercise in. Today is day two, which is with the exercises I made the reps a little bit much shorter. So on day two, I'm hitting the record button. Hopefully you guys are exercising yourself. We here, the summer is here, so it's just a matter of just staying fit and just continue being healthy. All right, one of the things I want to add is that sharing my thoughts on today's life journey is gratitude and appreciation, adding there some compassion, and adding there some passion also. So gratitude, appreciation, compassion, and some passion in there. And I'm sharing that today is because May was just one of the ugliest month for me of 2022. That allows me just to not say just get off a journey, but just more be there for family, be there for friends. The whole situation that happened in Texas, just a lot took place in May. So just giving that time and the condolences and the feeling of grieving and pain and all of that. So we're about to get into the exercise today. I'm gonna have to close out thoughts. Today we're gonna be listening to Immortal Mindz. I'm gonna continue where we left off on Immortal Mindz in May. Also, so Immortal Mindz, having the title is called having a woman as a weapon, true message defined. All right, the reps for May was 30 because my body was able to push through of what's needed. So we reduced the reps down to 10. So 10 each leg, 10 each leg on the single leg here, the lunges, sorry, and 10 squats, the 30 seconds on the portal squat, the deep squat, Asian deep squat. My words is just all over the place right now. Where I got this wooden place here, just get in position and just hold the squat for 30 seconds. We have 1 minute plank, 45-second plank on the side, on each side of the arm. We have the brick curls, 10. We have the rip right, 5. Big shout out to my good friend Lisa and her brother that definitely has the whole rip right business going on. And what we're going to do is 5. We hold it for 5 seconds and go ahead and do the rep 5 times and counting down. And we're doing the 10 raises where we get the brick and we raising it up. Okay, we're doing 10 of those. All right, and then we have the closing thoughts. But let's get started. I mean, I've been waiting for this because I feel like I wasn't sure if I was going to get back on the recording. I'm not sure if I was going to get back in the habit of exercising. But something about yesterday of the illusion of the fear, the doubts, the illusion, it wasn't real. I fought right through it. I exercised the reps, everything. So now it's back live. I'm happy to be back live. I'm grateful. So let's get back into it, all right? So let's get started.
At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. In the book Outwitting the Devil, that book covered a lot of things, but there was one part that always had me stumped. There's a part in the book where Napoleon Hill was talking to this source, and he just paused and said, how did I get here? Like how did I get to this level of understanding to where I can even have this conversation with you? And that source said, it's because of your wife. And I'm telling you, everything in that book made sense to me except that part. It would take me about 3 years of just studying bits and pieces to finally understand what was being said or what was meant, right? Men, we always put out red pill information, to inform men on what to look out for and the pitfalls of dealing with women. But what happens if everything goes right? You know what I'm saying? In other words, what does a relationship in its perfect form look like? Because, it doesn't matter how much content we put out. At the end of the day, we have to know that man and woman was put here to be together. That man and woman in their uncorrupted state are the most compatible. We have to understand that, right? I was talking to my son, this has been a while back when he first came and lived with me. I was picking him up from his mom's house, and I was just explaining to him, I said, man, there was a time when I was your age where every household on the block had its biological father and his biological mother living in one household, right? And just the look on his face was just kind of like I never even thought about that. But because nowadays, it's stepchild this and dual family this. But it was almost like it was a thought that never crossed his mind. And it made me think about my father, I was like, what things, concerning relationships did my father see that I had no idea existed? And then I thought about what things did his father see that he didn't know, you know what I mean? And instantly, man, my mind just went back to a time, before courthouses and marriage certificates, to a time where men and women were in their most uncorruptible state. And brothers, I discovered some things. The question in my mind went from what is it about relationships that we don't know to why would a system do everything in its power to divide man and woman? You know what I mean? Today, brothers, I want to talk about something that's well overdue. I want to talk about the truest form of marriage. I want to talk about using a woman as your weapon. Let's talk about it. Now, before we dive into the true nature of man and woman, we must first look at the true nature of this whole world, right? And to do that, we have to just simply go back to the beginning. Now, the beginning says that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was dark without void. I'm paraphrasing. Was without void, and God said, let there be light, and there was light, right? Now, there are 3 ways you can look at this, right? Now most people look at this and say, okay, well, darkness was on the face of the deep, and God said, let there be light, and the sun was there. But it can't be the sun because the sun wasn't created until the 4th day, And then some people say, when God said, let there be light, what he was saying is, that darkness represents, the ignorance of God, and letting there be light is letting there be information or knowledge of the Most High, right? And I can buy into that a little bit more. But after years of just picking up, bits and pieces of other information, I came up with a third scenario. When God said that darkness was on the face of the deep and to let there be light, really what he was saying is let there be balance. And the reason I say that is because without balance, there can be no expansion. So balance had to be put in place first, right? Now, to bring this back to the third dimension, right? Let's look at a baby. Now picture a baby trying to walk, right? Now, they'll stand up and they'll lean to the right, they'll fall. They'll stand up, they'll lean to the left and fall. But once they maintain that balance, from there they can start to expand. They can start walking. They can start jumping, and the possibilities are unlimited on what they can do, right? And I think about the same thing, when it comes to my son. When I first put my son in the gym, I put him on the bench press. I didn't just lay him down and slap, some 45s on the side. First thing I did was give him the bar, and he would work with that thing, rock it a little bit, because he had to first establish balance. And again, expansion can't take place unless first there's balance. So we can't talk about balance without talking about the law of polarity, right? And the law of polarity simply states that, it simply talks about the degrees of difference between two absolutes, right? Now, let's just pause for a second, because if you look online, if you look on Facebook, if you look on Instagram or whatever, you'll see people talking about, who was first? Was it man or was it woman? I call it the rib womb discussion, because men are saying, oh, woman came from my rib, and women are saying, oh, well, I have the womb, so you had to come from me or whatever, right? But this is the thing, I understand what the writers of the Bible were trying to relay when they wrote it, but the truth is this. Going back to the beginning, when it says, in the beginning, there was darkness upon the face of the deep, and God said, let there be light. To be honest, these two things had to be created at the same time because of the law of polarity. Even on the fourth day when the sun and the moon were created, they had to be created at the same time because of the law of polarity. You know what I mean? Picture the North Pole. Now, the only reason we can even call it the North Pole is because of its polar opposite. Without the South Pole, it doesn't exist. Imagine a world where blue was the only color. What would you call it? You wouldn't call it anything because it couldn't exist. In other words, if there's going to be a here, there has to be a there. Because if there's no there, then here is absolutely nowhere. And the same thing applies when you're talking about man and a woman. See, the law of polarity states this. It says that there are two poles or opposites. The difference between the two extremes of one thing is called polarity. There are degrees of difference between the extremes or poles, no absolutes. This law states that, in fact, these opposites are simply different manifestations of the same thing. In other words, man and woman are one and the same. Two of the exact same beings on opposite end of the spectrum. So to answer the question, was man here first or was woman here first? They were both here at the same time, because without the other, that the one couldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? See, at some point in time, we all drunk the Kool-Aid. We men walk around, in our dominance, and we should because somebody has the quarterback. But what we need to understand is that women are just as equally powerful as men in a different way. Not only are they equally powerful as men, when a man and a woman come together, they become superhuman. See, I've always told you that a woman works like a supercharger to a man, but today I'm going to explain how. Again, it all comes down to balance. The yin and the yang is everything to life. So let's talk about true marriage, because we've gone far too long putting our powers into a piece of paper. Let's start with man. Man is the master architect of this world. The way our minds work, our decision-making abilities is absolutely phenomenal. Now, you can call me sexist or whatever, but the woman's mind just doesn't work like the man's mind. Having said that, a woman has her own set of abilities.
Alright, so really didn't expect to have the sunlight in my face right now. Just gotta make it work. So we here. Something to compare to channel. And it's just amazing how life, it all works as one. When there's death, this life coming into this world, and it just amazed me where death is in the reach of a distance of people I may know, it's just interesting how looking at the world, just looking at it differently. And once again, I mentioned before, just the appreciation, being grateful, gratitude, and staying on path of purpose. And whatever that means to you, in a sense, whatever that means to you, whatever that means to me, path of purpose, like, you know, what are we here? And if I've been in a position to help somebody, you know I feel very, I feel great about it. It's over. I have an over list of things, of good deeds. Don't have to go through each one of them, but the situation is that I'm thankful to be here to exercise again. I'm thankful to have a job that could pay a good amount of the bills. I'm glad I have creativity in order to be able to create into the unseen. Whatever I create can be beneficial, not just for only me, but for others around me. And I'm just looking forward to going into that. All right. So I'm gonna leave it on that note. The worst thing I could do right now is go. I am live on this session right here, but to be able to say something that, like, you know, what was that, or get off topic. Really don't want to get off topic. Hopefully the video of Immortal Mindz is very helpful to whoever is listening. The first 21 days, just to recap, the first 21 days we did the Joseph Rodriguez. The second one, that 21 days, was Shahrazad Ali. This one here is Immortal Mindz. Okay, the month of May wasn't completed all the way due to certain circumstances that I had to just cut it short, which is fine. June is here. I think June is going to bring in great results on the workout, and just a tight is a situation that the rain, you know, so I have to find a way to still be able to exercise and probably do a different setup. So it's okay. Whatever is not done, there's no reason to get all upset. And what is done, I'm just so happy and so grateful and appreciative for those moments. All right. So you guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening or your day. Enjoy that. Okay. Until next time.